Okay, first drive, here we go. So we're gonna be doing the 2-camera action again, just to get 2 different views we have here. We're gonna see how much this thing feels like a Tundra. For some reason, my street is Grand Central Station right now. I have vehicles parked everywhere. I have cars coming up and down the road, and that is no bueno. So hold on one sec. We're gonna get out of here real quick, and we're gonna see what this thing feels like. Steering, immediately turning out of the driveway, is a lot looser than the current, real quick, just in case you're watching this and you are not a Tundra owner, there's gonna be a lot of comparisons to the Tundra, pretty much because this is the Tundra SUV, and this channel is obviously a Tundra channel. So I wanna see how close to the Tundra it is as far as sounds, feel. It's obviously not gonna feel the same thing. It's an SUV versus that pickup, but just in general, I wanna see how the engine and the transmission feel with a body on top of it like this versus a pickup truck. But overall, the braking feels slightly different, and the steering feels a little bit looser. Not bad, not like out of control or anything like that. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we got. Pedal to the metal. Woo. It's nothing to be mad about. If you spend this kind of money, you're going to want a little power. I don't care what you're using this vehicle for. Bring the kids to soccer practice or whatnot. This has a little bit of power to it, a little more than I expected. You could definitely tell, and this is just like anything when it comes to this kind of size with a V8 engine, you could definitely tell you got a lot of weight you're pulling, but at the end of the day, the thing actually got up to speed a lot better than I thought it would. But, you know, going down the road now, like we have the TRD Pro Suspension, so got to make a lot of comparisons between the other TRD Pro Suspensions I've driven and this one. TRD Pro Suspension across the board, no matter which vehicle, at the end of the day, the similarity, the number one similarity with the TRD Pro Suspension is it's such a comfortable ride on road. A lot more than I thought it would be, you know, when they first came out with the package talking about high-speed desert runner kind of a truck setup. A lot of times when you get in any kind of a truck that is set up for, you know, off-roading, the suspension is a little bit tough on the road, but at the end of the day, just from the little bit I've driven this thing now, I could already tell this suspension is going to have the same characteristics as the other TRD Pro suspensions. It's not bouncy, it glides down the road nice. The higher speeds equal, it floats over the bumps. You don't get like a big rough ride or anything like that. It's a nice comfortable ride, and if you're going to buy this vehicle, I don't see Toyota selling a ton of TRD Pro Sequoias. I do see Toyota selling a good amount of some of the other trims, just because of what this vehicle is meant for. This vehicle is meant for a big family, you know, a big family that maybe does, you know, a lot of the types of things a lot of types of things big families do. If you have kids and they play sports, you got a lot of room in the trunk. If you have, you know, a couple kids, 2-3 kids, and they have a lot of friends, you could fill them up in here and you could take them to the movies or whatnot. You know, there's a lot of room in here to do things like that. Do I think people will spend the extra money on something like the TRD Pro Suspension and the TRD Pro Interior Exterior? I don't know. We're going to have to see what the sales number are. 2020 is the first year for the TRD Pro package on this vehicle, but I look forward to seeing what happens. It's definitely no slouch. It gets up to speed nice. It's not a speed demon, don't get me wrong by any means, but one thing it is missing that I could tell is a little bit of sound. You know, TRD Pro vehicle with a stock exhaust, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right. It definitely has the same sounds coming from a stock Tundra. So, you know, obviously the engine is exactly the same as what we're used to with the stock Tundra. It's 5.7 V8. But overall, the sound is just not there. It does need some form of a dual exhaust. Maybe they could do some engineering and a little modifications here and there to get the TRD Tundra dual exhaust on this thing. As far as getting up to speed normally, you know, not going hard on the pedal, just everyday driving, it's just the way that the 5.7 and oh, there goes a Tundra flying by me right there. The way that the 5.7 and the 6-speed transmission is mated, it really does get it up to speed quickly, you know, without a lot of extras. And what I mean by extras, it's not super noisy. Even if you had some, now that is super noisy. Even if you had some form of a dual exhaust on here like the TRD, it's never super noisy when you don't want it to be. It just gets up to speed nice. Now I know all these companies nowadays are going to, automotive manufacturers are going to, you know, 8-speed, 10-speed transmissions and everything like that. And the fuel mileage on the Sequoia and the Tundra isn't the best in the game. Now, I know the 6-speed transmission is becoming a thing of the past. A lot of these automotive manufacturers these days are going to 8-speed and 10-speed transmissions. That's just the way it is. That's the name of the game these days. But I will say this. The 5.7 V8 that's been in the Tundra and the Sequoia for a very long time now, and the 6-speed transmission that comes with it, is actually very well mated together. And I would hate to see it go away. And I know the gas mileage is always an issue, but if you're someone who doesn't really care about gas mileage too much, you're a local traveler, or you just have a ton of money, I mean, the gas prices are coming down pretty good, you really might want to give this thing a ride if you're in the market for a bigger SUV like this, because they really, in both vehicles, in the Toyota Tundra pickup and the Sequoia, which is the same engine and transmission, they both feel amazing getting up to speed, and there's always a good amount of power. It's just perfect. All right, we're gonna give this thing a little bit of a body roll test in this turn I'm about to make. You could really feel what the vehicle's all about in this turn. Not too fast, about 35 miles an hour. This thing has a lot of body roll, kind of what you'd expect for a bigger SUV like this, but yeah, this will swing you around in your seat a little bit. I kind of saw the writing on the wall before I even tried that turn, just because we got a little bit of a crosswind today going across the road that I was just driving on at 50 miles an hour, and you could kind of feel the vehicle going back and forth. TRD rear sway bar. I don't know if they make it for the Sequoia, but it would be something you might want to look into to get rid of that body roll if they do. In closing, I think this vehicle is going to be a lot of fun to drive for the next week. I'm excited to have it. It feels giant inside, and it drives like it is a giant SUV for sure. It definitely feels a little heavy out there on the road, but you know, it knows how to move itself pretty good. So it is something that if you're in the market for a giant SUV, you might want to check this out, because we all know Toyota, maybe they're not the most up-to-date with all of the modern technologies of these other brands out there, but Toyota reliability. And for the people that say Toyota just kind of stay in their own box and they're afraid to go outside and think about different things and go different directions, just look at what they're doing lately. I mean, we're sitting in a prime example of one. We're in a large family SUV right now, and they put a TRD Pro package on it. So they're not afraid to do things. We just had an Avalon with a demographic of an older driver. They put a TRD package on it. So they're not afraid to step outside the box a little bit and try some new stuff. So I give them a lot of credit for that. I look forward to seeing how the fuel mileage is with this. I know on paper it says the same thing, but I do look forward to seeing how, you know, it is in day-to-day operations, you know, slow traffic, stop and go, all that stuff. We're going to take it out on the highway at some point too, see how it does out there. It seems to ride really good. It rides like a lot of heavy vehicles, but the TRD Pro Suspension does a lot of work with when you're going in a straight line. It feels really good. It rides over the bumps really good, but when you're in the turns, in the curves, you could definitely feel the vehicle doing that top heavy SUV type deal. So at the end of the day, very excited, like I said. So let me know what you think. Is this something you'd be in the market for? And I mean a Sequoia. Is the Sequoia something that you would look at, or would you go for a little bit smaller like my wife's 4Runner, or would you just get a pickup? And if you are someone that says yes to the Sequoia, would you spend the extra money on the TRD Pro? It does look like you get yourself a good amount of amenities in here versus a higher end Sequoia that has pretty much all the amenities in it. This looks like it has a good amount of stuff going on in here, but at the end of the day, do you think the TRD Pro suspension and you know, the black wheels and everything, is that something you're into if this is a vehicle for you? So let me know in the comments below. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at TundraDude34, TundraDude34@gmail.com. You guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. Be safe.